Today I want to give you a list. 5 things to get me into the writing mood. 19th day of NaNoWriMo. To begin this list, number 1 and probably the most important, at least for me, is no distractions. Each distraction can pull me, it doesn't matter where I'm at in the novel process. A single distraction can just pull me completely out of the zone, forcing me to start all over again, and then by the end of whatever allotted time I've got, I feel like I've gotten nothing accomplished just due to one little bitty distraction. Honestly, the best thing that I can do to get a novel written is to simply be left alone. No distractions, no cat in the background if you can hear her meowing at my feet. No phone ringing, no internet notifications. Basically solidarity. If I can barricade myself into a room, leave my phone elsewhere, block out all the noise, and just be left alone, I am the most productive. Obviously, that doesn't happen very often, but we do what we can. Number 2, mood music. I have what I call my writing playlist. One of my friends, Christy, is just phenomenal resource when it comes to getting music. Anytime that I'm looking for any particular song, it doesn't matter how obscure, she can find it within a pretty short amount of time and get it to me. I can't do lyrical music. There's just something about hearing the words. I count them as a distraction and they pull me out of the writing. But a lot of just straight instrumental, the soundtrack for like Lord of the Rings or even more sci-fi stuff. I have the Stargate soundtrack and the Fifth Element soundtrack. And there's so many soundtracks out there that my friend has obtained for me, and they're all instrumental. Like I said, lyrics throw me out. I get these and I compile them into my writing playlist, and while I'm going along, sometimes it may be a slow, melodical tune. With that, I can keep a gentle pace with the writing, and then it always seems to just line up where I need it, where if I get into like a fast-paced action scene, then I get that fast-paced, really intense music. And there's just something about the writing that influxes on the way that I write my stories. Most importantly of that, like I said, no lyrics. The other thing is a low volume. If the music is too loud, then I start paying attention to it rather than what I'm supposed to be doing. So typically I keep the volume between 10 and 12%. It's just loud enough to be heard, but not so loud that it's pulling me out of my zone. Number 3, comfort. Basically, it's a little bit of everything. It's the clothes you wear. If you're more comfortable writing in a pair of sweatpants and a loose t-shirt, do what you've got to do. You shouldn't have to get dressed up in a 3-piece suit just to write a book. A lot of TV shows seem to insinuate that, writers have to wear a suit. It's not the case. I own a few suits. I enjoy wearing my suits whenever I see the opportunity to wear them. But for the most part, they stay in the shelf and on their hangers, and I rarely touch them. I have to be comfortable, which for me, comfort is a pair of nice-fitting blue jeans and a t-shirt. That's what I wear pretty much year-round and have since I was a kid. Just whatever makes you comfortable. If it's sweatpants, go for it. If it's a loose shirt, go for it. Pajamas, go for it. We are independent authors. We can do what we want to do. We don't have a dress code. The other part of that is shoes. If you want to wear flip-flops, slip-on, or slippers, your wardrobe should reflect how you want to feel while you're writing, and being as comfortable as possible will help with that process. Now, keep in mind of the mental side of that. A lot of people, if you don't get up and get dressed, you're going to have issues being productive. If you stay in your night clothes, you're going to feel like it's still nighttime. Not time to do what you're supposed to be doing. So a lot of people have to get up, change their clothes, just to get into the zone that it's time to start the day. Another important factor of that is the temperature of wherever you're writing at. If it's too cold, you're going to be sitting over there shivering, and you're going to spend less time writing. On the other hand, if it's too hot and you're sweating all the time, that's another distraction. You want to try to get your temperature where it's most comfortable for you. Number 4, setting realistic goals. There's no denying that writing a novel is a big undertaking. If you sit there and think, I've got to knock out 65,000 words or 100,000 words by this set point in time, that's pretty stressful. It can be really hard to focus whenever you've got that much hanging over your head. And that's where events like NaNoWriMo come in handy. The 50,000 words within a 30-day period. That breaks down to, if you were writing consistently, it's 1,667 words a day. And that is, for the most part, fairly attainable. Most authors average about 2,000 words a day anyway, so as long as you're writing every day, it shouldn't be an issue to achieve that goal. Then you get into people like me, who I won't do anything for a couple days, and then I just do sprints. And it's kind of the tortoise and the hare story there. Only I'm not going to be, taking naps all the time when I'm not supposed to. I will get my book finished. I am just better off as a sprint type person. I do a whole lot, and then I take it easy, and then I do a whole lot, and I take it easy. I probably should be more consistent, but that's just the rhythm that I've found that works for me. Number 5, atmosphere. You need to find a place where you are comfortable writing. Since I've been out here where I currently live, and of course my situation's changed this past month, but prior to that, it was just a nightmare to try to do anything productive during the day. The TV was always on. If my grandpa, if he was trying to go to bed back when he was still able to walk around by himself, if the TV got turned off, he'd get up out of bed, go turn it back on, and then go back to bed. The noise was nonstop all the time. I couldn't focus. I came down here thinking that I would have all of this extra time to get a lot of writing done, and that was far from the truth. I got hardly any writing done. I used to pump out a new book every 3 months. I've gotten down here and I've pumped out 3 books in about 2 years. The constant noise hurt my productivity. I need a quiet setting to write. It's too distracting. In the books that I've written since I've been down here, I wrote one of them back when I could leave the house. I would go out to the shop, and I had a folding table out there and a chair. And I would sit there after everything was taken care of inside. I'd go out to the shop and I'd spend all night out there writing. And then whenever I get done with whatever my daily goal was, I'd come inside and get things tended again in here, get a little sleep, get up, do it again. My next book after that was a mixture of writing it in the shop or in the bathroom. And in the bathroom was still just as big of a nightmare, because every time I turn around, somebody's opening the door and bumping into me, and then I've got to stop what I'm doing, leave the room so they can take care of their business. And then they get done, I go back in and go back to work. And it's really hard to do that with those constant distractions. And then the last book that I wrote and completed was entirely written in the bathroom. I would get everybody else settled around 11:30. I was finally able to open my manuscript. I would sit there and I would write until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometime, go to bed for a couple hours, get up, start the day over. And really that was the process for quite a while. And that book took longer than it should have taken, mostly because I was always having to leave the bathroom. Things have changed a little bit with Grandpa's passing. I now have a space where I can write mostly uninterrupted. I still have a cat and a dog that like to pester me from time to time, but we'll deal with that. Having a spot where you are comfortable writing, where you're not constantly being distracted, that is comfortable for you, is extremely important. If that's simply a desk space set up in a closet, make sure that it's not cluttered. Make sure that you actually have room to work. If you can get all of this stuff, if you can have these 5 things, your writing will be more productive and you will feel more accomplished throughout the day. And that's pretty much all I've got for today. I will check in tomorrow with my word count of what I've managed over the last 2 days, as well as the total word count of the book and how far we are from goal. We will see you guys then. Have a good evening. Bye.